Finally, seeing that he was abandoned and alone, and there was no one to help him, he decided to get up, however inhuman the effort it cost him. Stiopa unstuck his glued eyelids and saw himself reflected in the pier glass as a man with hair sticking out in all directions, with a bloated physiognomy covered with black stubble, with puffy eyes, a dirty shirt, collar and necktie, in drawers and socks. So he saw himself in the pier glass, and next to the mirror he saw an unknown man, dressed in black and wearing a black beret. Stiopa sat up in bed and goggled his bloodshot eyes as well as he could at the unknown man. The silence was broken by this unknown man, who said in a low, heavy voice, and with a foreign accent, the following words. Good morning, my most sympathetic Stepan Bogdanovich. There was a pause, after which, making a most terrible strain on himself, Stiopa uttered. What can I do for you? And was amazed, not recognizing his own voice. He spoke the word what in a treble, can I in a bass, and his do for you did not come off at all. The stranger smiled amicably, took out a big gold watch with a diamond triangle on the lid, rang 11 times, and said, 11. And for exactly an hour I've been waiting for you to wake up, since you made an appointment for me to come to your place at 10. Here I am. Stiopa felt for his trousers on the chair beside his bed, whispered. Excuse me, put them on, and asked hoarsely, tell me your name, please? He had difficulty speaking. At each word, someone stuck a needle into his brain, causing infernal pain. What, you've forgotten my name, too? Here the unknown man smiled. Forgive me, Stiopa croaked, feeling that his hangover had presented him with a new symptom. It seemed to him that the floor beside his bed went away, and that at any moment he would go flying down to the devil's dam in the nether world. My dear Stepan Bogdanovich, the visitor said, with a perspicacious smile, no aspirin will help you. Follow the wise old rule, cure like with like. The only thing that will bring you back to life is 2 glasses of vodka with something pickled and hot to go with it. Stiopa was a shrewd man and, sick as he was, realized that since he had been found in this state, he would have to confess everything. Frankly speaking, he began, his tongue barely moving, yesterday I got a bit. not a word more. The visitor answered and drew aside with his chair. Styopa, rolling his eyes, saw that a tray had been set on a small table, on which tray there were sliced white bread, pressed caviar in a little bowl, pickled mushrooms on a dish, something in a saucepan, and, finally, vodka in a roomy decanter belonging to the jeweler's wife. What struck Styopa especially was that the decanter was frosty with cold. This, however, was understandable, it was sitting in a bowl packed with ice. In short, the service was neat, efficient. The stranger did not allow Styopa's amazement to develop to a morbid degree, but deftly poured him half a glass of vodka. "And you?" Styopa squeaked. "With pleasure." His hand twitching, Styopa brought the glass to his lips, while the stranger swallowed the contents of his glass at one gulp. Chewing a lump of caviar, Styopa squeezed out of himself the words. "And you a bite of something?" "Much obliged, but I never snack," the stranger replied and poured seconds. The saucepan was opened and found to contain frankfurters in tomato sauce. And then the accursed green haze before his eyes dissolved, the words began to come out clearly, and, above all, Styopa remembered a thing or two. Namely, that it had taken place yesterday in Skodnia, at the dacha of the sketch writer Kostov, to which this same Kostov had taken Styopa in a taxi. There was even a memory of having hired this taxi by the Metropole, and there was also some actor, or not an actor with a gramophone in a little suitcase. Yes, 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 it was at the dacha. The dogs, he remembered, had howled from this gramophone. Only the lady Styopa had wanted to kiss remained unexplained. Devil knows who she was. Maybe she was in radio, maybe not. The previous day was thus coming gradually into focus, but right now Styopa was much more interested in today's day and, particularly, in the appearance in his bedroom of a stranger, and with hors d'oeuvres and vodka to boot. It would be nice to explain that. Well, I hope by now you've remembered my name? But Styopa only smiled bashfully and spread his arms. Really? I get the feeling that you follow the vodka with port wine. Good heavens, it simply isn't done. I beg you to keep it between us, Styopa said fawningly. Oh, of course, of course. But as for Kostov, needless to say, I can't vouch for him. So you know Kostov? Yesterday, in your office, I saw this individual briefly, but it only takes a fleeting glance at his face to understand that he is a bastard, a squabbler, a trimmer and a toady. Perfectly true. Thought Styopa, struck by such a true, precise and succinct definition of Kostov. Yes, the previous day was piecing itself together, but, even so, anxiety would not take leave of the director of the Variety. The thing was that a huge black hole yawned in this previous day. Say what you will, Styopa simply had not seen this stranger in the beret in his office yesterday.